Hello, once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell, and joining me today is a good friend of mine who has co-hosted a bunch of these videos with me. His name is James DeSantis. James, you want to introduce yourself quick?
Yeah, Whitey the Reviewer or Ultimate Chance, whatever people call me these days. I do a lot of video game reviews. Big nerd, so I also do other movie reviews as well as comic stuff once in a while. So come check out my channel every once in a while, and half my videos are with Nick anyway, so you're probably following one of us or both of us at this point. But yeah, that's it.
All right. And if you've been paying attention to this channel in the last couple months, you may have seen a summer preview video for May and now just recently June. James also did those videos with me, and we are going to be covering the best and worst movies out of May for this year. And so, James, you want to take it away with some of your best for the month of May?
Yeah, let me talk about two that I really, really dug in terms of the best. I'm going to talk about one quickly because you could probably guess is Civil War. Very well done movie, super awesome superhero movie, and it had a lot of heart. It was a good story, everything that another superhero movie a month prior didn't do. So I really just dug the shit out of Civil War, and it really made me love the characters that I already enjoyed even more. So that's one movie, obvious choice, but one movie that is just as good but in a very different way is Nice Guys. Nice Guys blew me away. Now, I'm a huge Shane Black fan, been since Lethal Weapon when my mama showed me that when I was 4 years old for some reason, and been a fan ever since. It has just been that quick, witty dialogue mixed with believable, real characters in always a timepiece. Like it always feels like whatever time they're shooting that movie, that's the time. And Nice Guys takes you back. It gets you this gritty, fucking disgusting sex world, and it works just so well. On top of having some of the funniest dialogue I've ever heard in a movie, I was literally cracking up in the theater, which doesn't usually happen. I usually do a little giggle, a little but this movie made me fucking die laughing. So Nice Guys, and surprisingly good action. So again, very fun movie, worth watching. So sad it's getting killed at the box office, but that's Hollywood, and that's the general, consumer of pieces of shit, motherfuckers. But yeah, so that's my two best movies of the month.
All right. And I have one similar to you. Captain America: Civil War. Obviously, this is a movie that generally everybody loved, myself included. And I've already said my piece on it on my channel, and James just kind of said his piece, so I'm not going to go into full details. But it was one of my favorite movies of the year, and probably my most favorite of the month. But another one which I really, really enjoyed a lot was Sing Street. And this is because it's got kind of a general story: boy meets girl, boy starts band, and then he kind of finds himself and the confidence within himself to kind of be himself and follow his passion for music. And it has a lot of fantastic music in this movie. And you see him kind of start out as kind of a mediocre singer and eventually just kind of grow into just a fantastic singer. It takes place during, if I remember correctly, the 80s in Dublin, Ireland. And it's just got really good story, really good issues that it deals with. And yeah, I ended up really, really enjoying this movie for what it was. And it's one that I really wanted to go back and see. And I unfortunately did not find the time to do it.
I have one
But
question though about
yeah, yeah.
does he get laid?
That would be a big spoiler, so I'm not going to go into that.
Oh, if he doesn't get laid after starting a band, that's bad. Just now I gotta go see it.
Another one which I really found myself enjoying a lot more than I expected to was Money Monster. I saw the trailers for this thing probably 3 months in a row, just before every single movie that I saw in theaters. And so I figured I knew what I was going into. But in between the scenes that they showed in the trailer, there's so much more that goes on in this movie, which just really, really impressed me. George Clooney gives a really good performance. Julia Roberts does fantastic. And yeah, I love this movie just because of how well it was delivered, how you end up siding with this gunman and his protagonist, and just how well it kind of dives into the economics of this issue and explains it in a very understandable way for the general audience. And I just really, really liked it.
So my worst movie is Money Monster. No. Uh, so I haven't seen Money Monster, but there are two movies that came out last month. I would say one was pretty boring, and the other was not as good as I hoped. So Neighbors 2 is not a bad movie by any means. It's very fun to watch, but I will never watch it again. It's a one-note movie. You watch it, you get a couple of giggles, a couple of chuckles. I think I laughed hard maybe once, and it was mostly due to a clown. And that's really the only major laugh in the movie. I did like the idea of the movie to make it more um, heartfelt and more actually have a story in there, but it wasn't all that interesting. The characters just weren't. So that's my kind of bad movie. But I'm not even going to name my worst. I want to know your choice before I name my worst, or at least a movie not as good as you hoped.
Honestly, Neighbors 2 is also on my list for my worst. And again, it's not a terrible movie by any means. It's fun. I like that we got to kind of side with both sides of this issue. You could easily see this being a movie just focused on Chloe Grace Moretz's character and them trying to establish a fraternity or a sorority within this justice or within this system, which doesn't allow them to party. I would like to see that as a movie, but seeing both sides of this issue, it worked for me. But I don't think it was as good as the first one or as engaging. And I didn't laugh quite as much as I was hoping to. The other one that I had on this list outside of my worst was Angry Birds. Again, fun movie for what it was. I enjoyed the third act because it really started to give tribute to the game, and I enjoyed the characters for what they were, but just ultimately not that very good of a movie. And some scenes were a little bit inappropriate for kids to a point
Those
with
fucking
enjoying
birds.
those. But yeah, that's the other one that would be on my worst outside of my worst for the month.
My worst. Let me tell you a little short story. I like to do these. My wife went to see this movie. I didn't see it. And she is a major fan of this genre. And she went to go see it with her mom, who doesn't like this genre. And she saw it, and then she came home. I said, "How was it?" And she turned to me and said, "That was a pile of shit." Do you know what movie I'm talking about? It's called The Darkness.
Yeah.
Now, I had no reason to see this movie because it looked like poo poo caca shit. But my wife loves horror movies to the point she'll watch a 1 star on Netflix and still find some redeeming quality. She didn't find one fucking redeeming quality. She said this movie was the most predictable, most stupid, most fucking cliche fucking thing she's ever seen. And I'm just sitting there like, I told you. I told you. So I don't even have to see this movie to know it's the worst movie of this month. Because first off, it has a 5 fucking %. That is lower than Fantastic Four. So that's already scary enough to stay away. That's the scary part of the movie. But my wife, who is the biggest horror fan I know, who will watch anything and enjoy it except for Jennifer's Body and this movie. These are the 2 worst horror movies she's ever seen in her life. And she says this is shit. So I encourage everybody to stay far, far away.
I mean, there is a reason why it was at 0% on Rotten Tomatoes for about 2 weeks after it came out. And then somehow somebody ended up enjoying it and boosted the score a little bit. But yeah, I agree. This is easily the worst of the month. It's a dull horror movie which doesn't do a lot of interesting things. The only thing that I could really think when I did my review of it that I somewhat enjoyed was like the very end with the special effects a little bit. But they don't really do the mythology of this darkness very well. It's not very intriguing. It wasn't a fun time, and I was bored for the entire movie. Felt like it was trying to be something else, entirely like a marriage issue movie with horror elements added into it, and it just did not work well at all. And yeah, easily the worst of the month.
Well, I think that's it. I don't think I've seen it. Well, X-Men was a disappointment, but not as bad as
No.
Darkness and not as okay as Neighbors. It was a little bit better. So, again, those are the best and the worst movies that I've seen. And we have somewhat of a different list, but I think we all add up that you should probably go see Sing Street, Nice Guys, and, of course, Civil War, if you haven't somehow not seen this movie yet.
Yeah, no, that's very true. It's a very good summary of what our lists eventually told you guys. And so let me know yours, your best and worst of the month of May down in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, like, fair, comment, and subscribe. If you so choose, I'd appreciate it immensely. Make sure to go and subscribe to James's channel. A link will be down in the description. And check out his game videos. They're always very fantastic and very fun to watch. And yeah, guys, that's about it. As always, keep on watching.